और अभी अगले और कॉम्पिटिशन्स हैं, अभी टाइम है तो उनमें और ज़्यादा जोर लगाएंगे। बस मुझे लग रहा था कि लास्ट थ्रो तक निकलेगी, थ्रो निकलेगी, क्योंकि कंसिस्टेंट तो थी पर कहीं ना कहीं कुछ दिक्कत आ रही थी। पहली थ्रो मैं सोच रहा था कि काफ़ी अच्छे से लगाऊंगा, पर टेक्निकली कुछ प्रॉब्लम रही उसमें। तो पहली थ्रो अच्छी ना लगे, थोड़ा हो ही जाता है कि फिर खुद को पुश किया और मैं थोड़ा सा
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. There's lots lined up for you on this edition, but let's get you started with some breaking news that's now coming in. And this is an update coming in from the moon. Remember, India is roving the moon. Our rover Pragyan is on the lunar surface. ISRO is now tweeting out details of what exactly is happening there. And I'm going to take you across to that latest update coming to the fore from ISRO. This is the tweet that has now been put out as far as the Chandrayaan 3 mission goes. Let's show you the images that ISRO has now put out. This is of the lunar surface. There is a path that has been retraced by the Chandrayaan 3 rover, which is Pragyan, and this is what the tweet says. This is what ISRO has now put out. They say that on the 27th of August, that is yesterday, the rover came across a 4-meter diameter crater. It positioned 3 meters ahead of its location. The rover was commanded to retrace the path. It is now safely heading on to a new path. So a little hurdle, so to say, as far as the lunar surface goes. And these are the images of that path that was first taken by Pragyan, the rover, eventually retraced back, and now these are the tracks that were left behind by Pragyan, the rover. Now we're back on track, we're back onto treading waters on the lunar surface, getting in information, feeding it back to Earth here at the ISRO Command Center. Ritu, my colleague, joining us, getting us more on this. Ritu, all's well, all's on track, a little hurdle, so to say, there as far as Pragyan's movement on the lunar surface is concerned, but we're back on track now.
Yes. So you see now the ISRO on the X platform, in fact, has said that this happened on August 27th. So the rover came across a 4-meter diameter crater, positioned 3 meters ahead of its location. But yes, it was successfully retraced. It retraced its path, and now it is also safely heading on a new path. But we do know that there are so many craters on the moon, so it is going to be slightly challenging for the rover actually. But moreover, you see the confidence of the Indian Space Research Organization as well, that how things are this time being designed, and the confidence as well of the ISRO that doesn't matter how many hurdles will come on the way, this time the rover will be able to successfully collect all those elements and provide that crucial the information back to the command center here for them to study, and then later point keep it available for the world. And this is the important step of the ISRO, however. But yes, we know that it's really not easy for the ISRO also to actually look into it, because they would have studied it a lot before even taking up this Chandrayaan 3 mission. They ensured this time that there shouldn't be any type of a flaws, because one, of course, the challenges to be said. So the one, of course, was that the soft landing, but now after successfully achieving that the soft landing on the south pole of the moon, though we do know that it's called as the dark side of the moon, doesn't matter how many challenges will come on the way, this time the rover has been trained well to actually face them and also safely get back to its path.
Absolutely. It's less than 1 week for the lander and the rover. Remember, the shelf life is 2 weeks. It's 14 days, which is 1 lunar day as far as both Vikram and Pragyan and their life on the moon is concerned. There's a lot more that needs to be delved into. We are getting updates, Ritu, coming in from ISRO, like this one that just came to the fore, talking about the lunar topsoil around the pole and the temperature profile and what we're really understanding from it. This is what Vikram lander, the payloads that were on Vikram lander, this is the data that has been fed through that payload back here to the command center. And it goes on to talk about how there is a controlled penetration mechanism that is capable of reaching a depth of 10 centimeters beneath the surface, and the probe is fitted with 10 individual temperature sensors. There is a graph that has been put forth by ISRO as well, going on to talk about the temperature on the lunar surface, what exactly it is right on top and how much it is 10 centimeters below. These are the updates that periodically are coming to the fore from the ISRO command center as well, Ritu, and ISRO they're really now looking to study what is coming day to day. Once that 14-day shelf life of both Vikram and Pragyan is over, that's when the real experimenting analysis will begin, so to say.
Yes, very true. So the rover, which actually landed on the moon, in fact rolled out on the moon's surface on the August 23rd, you see, has now important that it has been managed to traverse the lunar crater, which was in fact a depth. If we try and understand the depth of it, that what we are also given to understand, it is of almost 100 mm. So this is again achievement that one can see of the rover, but that is how it is designed this time, and also the ISRO being very confident of in the coming days as well how the ISRO will be able to achieve, in fact, will be able to do all its activities, the significant analysis that it is supposed to, the significant information that is supposed to collect as well on the surface. But again, in the coming days, we will see more and more such interesting tweets from the ISRO, and also how that the command room will also be able to give us more interesting data of what exactly is taking place, because as you mentioned rightly about the soil, or for that matter about the temperature, how it changes, every after few meters, in fact. So that is again very important for the ISRO to study as well. So that's the significant study that the ISRO is doing with the Chandrayaan-3 right now.
Right, Ritu, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. A report card coming to the fore from ISRO on an everyday basis, getting us more details of what lies under the lunar surface now, as we are looking into the soil, the elemental composition, and of course the temperature. For the moment though, Ritu, thank you so much. We are shifting focus now to more breaking news that's coming in, and this is in connection with the VHP Shobha Yatra that was held in Haryana. We're now learning that on a day that the Jal Abhishek was conducted at the temple by the VHP and other Hindu groups, CNN News 18, via sources within the Haryana police, has now learned that there has been no major breakthrough in the violence that broke out on the 31st of July. This was, remember, the last time around when a similar procession was carried out by VHP and other Hindu groups, where violence broke out and at least 6 lives were lost. CNN News 18 is now gathering more information from its sources within the Haryana police of what exactly the status of the investigation is. Remember, we're almost 1 month since that particular violence broke out during that procession. Let's take a look at what exactly our investigation has now spelled out for us. This is what sources within the Haryana police have now told us, that there has been, unfortunately, no major breakthrough yet. Now, there are several arrests that have been made in this case, but we're learning that there is no major breakthrough is what the police believes, because the mastermind is still at large. That is the big reason why the cops believe that there is no major breakthrough in the riots investigation just as yet. We're also learning that majority of the people that are involved in that July 31st instance are still on the run. What exactly was the trigger? Was there any pre-planning? All of that is under investigation. It's difficult to determine who actually instigated the violence, because many were arrested, they were let off on bail, but those who are believed to be masterminds are still on the run. Only the mastermind's arrest can actually determine how it was pre-planned, if it was, and to what extent that pre-planning went to. Initial assessment of the police also throws up the fact that the riots were not pre-planned. They perhaps were a spontaneous mobilization of people, and that's really what led to the violence that we saw there. The situation escalated after an alleged instigation or comments that came to the fore from a local Maulvi or a cleric. He believed to have said that the Muslim community or the minority community was under threat. That is a comment that really triggered the kind of violence that we saw on the 31st of July. We're also given to understand that a mobilization plan was then put in place by this particular cleric, which is perhaps what led to the violence that we saw. There are intel reports that were already present with the district administration, with the state government, but unfortunately they were ignored. They fell on deaf ears, which is why the situation escalated to what it did back then, which is also why today we saw the district administration leave no stone unturned as far as putting security in place went. Monu Mane sir's video was also a triggering point. Remember, many within the administration there, many within the state government had said that this video, even though Monu Mane sir wasn't actually present there, the fact that he released a video, remember, he is a wanted criminal in another case. But the fact that he released a video saying that he would be present there, that was seen as a trigger point that is still under investigation. Anshul, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Anshul, we've seen the kind of difference of scenes that we saw on the 31st of July and what we saw today. The yatra went on completely peacefully today. The security was much heightened after what we saw on 31st. This could have been a similar scene back then as well, had the state government paid heed to all the intel reports that they had with them.
Well, definitely, this is the question that we have been raising from day one. That yes, there were local intelligence inputs that yes, the situation could trickle out of hand. There is mobilization that is happening at that point, especially on the at least 2 to 3 days before the violence initially broke out in Nu on the 31st of July. What we have also gathered is that the police is now making sure that they actually chalk out the entire plan and actually present this in the charge sheet, that how this entire riots were planned. Because remember, if at all these riots were something that happened spontaneously or organically, then these riots must have been contained to the area where the yatra was being taken out, that is near the Nalhar Mahadev temple. But yes, the violence that broke out not only broke out at the site, but also at least 40 kilometers away at Fatehpur Beri, the riots also broke out, and the riots also broke out at least 16 kilometers away from the spot as well. And the people who have been arrested from different districts of Haryana, including the likes of Gurugram and Sona as well. So people had actually come all the way from Gurugram, Sona, Fatehpur Beri, Palwal, Rajasthan, and they were the people who instigated that violence, and the riots broke out there. Till now, the new administration and the new police has been able to take more than 80 people under their arrest, and these people have specifically been identified from the videos that came out post the violence that had broken out on the 31st of July. Now today, the kind of situation that we saw developing in Nu, that was actually to give out a message that the new administration is capable of maintaining law and order in their state. And even after the VHP had promised that they are going to go ahead and carry out with the yatra, the new administration did not bend down and made sure that even the top brass of the VHP that had reached over there, they were specifically handpicked, earmarked, and then they were taken in small groups. Approximately 50 people were taken for this Jal Abhishek ceremony that was supposed to happen today. And what the new administration said, that the yatra was still not around and it was just a ceremony, just a ritual that was allowed to happen. And 50 people were earmarked. Most of them were locals of the new district. Only Alok Kumar and a few other senior members of the VHP and senior sons were earmarked and handpicked, and they were taken for this Jal Abhishek that was supposed to be done in all the three temples where the yatra was supposed to be taken out. So this was the kind of messaging that the new administration was trying to give, and they have been successful in doing so, because there have been absolutely zero reports of any sort of violence or any sort of untoward incident that might have taken place today, or any sort of tension even that might have been built anywhere. So this is the kind of messaging that was done by the new administration today. But yes, the manner in which local intelligence was let go of on the 31st of July, that is something that is very, very questionable. And post that, we saw that how the local administration was reprimanded. Even the DC, the district collectorate, and the SP of Nu, both were transferred with immediate effect just 3 to 4 days after the riots had broken out. The main reason that was given, although on record it was said that that it was due, it was a part of a due process. But yes, the manner in which this entire incident took place right after the violence had broken out, sudden transfers that took place, that definitely can be seen as a reprimand that was given to the local district administration. In fact, the district collector and the SP of Nu, who were taken away from their jobs and were transferred to other districts. Now, today the new administration was in place, and they made sure that the law and order situation remained under control. And in fact, several rounds were taken by the district collector himself.
Spiraled out into a big political fight. The BJP government in the state was under the radar as far as the violence that erupted was concerned. The fact that they even gave permission for at least 50 people to continue with this particular procession under strict scrutiny, that also had raised some questions. But do stay on with me, Anshul. Former DGP Vikram Singh now joining us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. We've seen the kind of violence that broke out on the 31st of July. The state government did, though, learn from its mistakes. They did put security in place. They ensured that the repeat was not seen this time around. Could the same mechanism have been put in place back then as well? 6 innocent lives would have been saved, perhaps.
You're absolutely right in your conclusion. 31st was a nightmare, and the best and the good thing that has happened is that they have drawn important lessons for future. And the lessons that have been implemented this time, that is today, goes to speak volume that had these precautions been taken, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Adequate intelligence, field area domination, police presence in sensitive areas, escorted processions, more so in the ensuring that the objectionable type of people are not seen in the vicinity and in the sensitive areas. All this was ensured. Had this been done, you're very right. Those 6 lives, including those of the 2 home guards, could have been saved. But yes, there are important and continuous takeaways after this incident. And yes, I would compliment the Haryana police for doing what they have done today. They need to understand that policing is a no-nonsense job and a 24/7 one.
Mr. Singh, I also want to ask you though, we had 1900 police personnel that were on duty there. We had 24 companies of paramilitary. But is this good use of resources just because an organization like this threatens that we would go ahead irrespective of whether there's no permission or no? Can the state government then ensure that these resources of the police, of the paramilitary is put to better use and an end is put to such kind of threats and the state does not bow in?
Absolutely. The presence of 1,900 extra policemen and 24 companies of paramilitary are a big deterrent. And the agitators and the mischief mongers know that the policemen, the iron fist is covered by a velvet glove, no doubt, but the iron fist is very much there. And also they know the preparation. They have their own intelligence set up. They are fully aware that the police will repulse any kind of monkey tricks that they may be resorting to. Therefore, everybody knew what the consequences of any misadventure, and lo and behold, you have a peaceful festival and a peaceful procession. I would not say a procession because procession probably was not legal. But yes, the police ensured that those who wanted to do the Jal Abhishek had the opportunity of doing the Jal Abhishek and Rudri part. So that is, at the end of the day, this is exactly what one wanted.
Right, so far all is well. Perhaps it could have been better managed last time around, but at least this time around we've seen that there is no untoward incident that has been reported. Vikram Singh, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. And Anshul, thank you so much for getting us the latest inputs. We are shifting focus now to some more breaking news that's coming in, and this is coming in from the United Kingdom, where we're now learning that a network-wide failure of the United Kingdom air traffic control systems has been reported. We're now learning that grounding of planes leaving and flying to the United Kingdom amid air traffic control the failure has now been reported. The National Air Traffic Controller says that it has applied traffic flow restrictions to maintain the safety of passengers of the aircraft as well. Logan Air, remember, had posted just a short while ago that there had been a network-wide failure of the systems this morning. Sanjay Suri, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details. Sanjay, what's the latest that you can share with us?
Well, they're of course scrambling to try and fix this, and we have no word yet of what caused this, but this is a very extensive UK-wide disruption. This has affected air traffic control right across the UK, and flights are being grounded. Other flights are not landing on time. There is a serious glitch, and of course, given the glitch, since air safety cannot be guaranteed with any disruption underway, they are trying their best to fix it, but at the moment there is disruption. It is quite recent that this has broken out, and we are waiting to see just how extensive the disruption will be and how long it will last.
Right, Sanjay, has there been any word as far as any of the airlines are concerned? Because I'm sure several hundred passengers are stranded post this development.
Well, there will be many thousands stranded and at the very least delayed. And the knock-on effect of this is just beginning to hit the airlines, and they are working out their schedules, and they are trying to make rescheduling arrangements and letting passengers know. And of course, there will be many who will be on the flights headed to destinations in the UK. So these changes are being made as we speak.
Right, so changes there being made to these schedules. Passengers, of course, stranded at the airport, at several airports across the United Kingdom. But what happens to the flights that are in the air that are perhaps waiting for a go-ahead full landing?
Well, that is a matter that they will determine at the very last minute to see if it is safe to land and to see how fast they can fix this. Everything depends upon that. There may be flights that are several hours away, and if this can be taken care of very soon and things are brought back to normal, then those could still go ahead and land with a few in between. And this is quite a logistical challenge now for the air traffic control. And they are scrambling to deal with this on the one hand, while engineers are struggling to fix this problem and get everything back to normal again.
Right, Sanjay, if you could put this in perspective of how big of a crash this really is. Have we noticed something like this in the recent past, in your recent memory perhaps, or is this the first time that across the UK we've seen something like this happen?
Well, I would prefer not to use the word crash for this. Let's call it a disruption. And there has been nothing quite like this in recent memory. We've had issues arising at airports now and then. There recently was such an incident at Gatwick Airport, close to London, and those flights were diverted. There was an issue also at Stansted. There have been delays at Heathrow every now and then, no doubt at other airports as well. But this is quite exceptional and quite extraordinary to the extent that this is affecting air traffic control right across the UK. And it's not just Heathrow and Stansted and these major airports. There are airports all around the country serving international passengers and domestic passengers. And there are delays occurring everywhere, and there's uncertainty about scheduling just about at every airport. And the full extent of this hasn't hit home. But if this problem is not fixed rather quickly, this would probably be the most major disruption that British airports have experienced.
And if Sanjay, you could give us more details as to there are reports, of course, trickling in. These are just initial reports. We're still trying to figure out what exactly transpired and what's the status of the operations there. But from what I see, some reports are also claiming that this is perhaps one of the busiest days of the year. Many people are returning from long weekend trips. This has been a long weekend for many in the United Kingdom. Is that why we're seeing perhaps more footfall as well?
Yes, today is Bank Holiday Monday, which is a holiday. It's a national holiday. And a lot of people are returning after their weekend abroad, and a lot of people do take leave in the week preceding to get that extra day to have an extended holiday, combining one weekend with a long weekend. So this is the day when a lot of people will be on the flights back to the UK, and they could face significant delays if this is not fixed in a hurry, and that could affect the rest of their working week. But this is something that people are being advised of. The full scale of it is still not hit home yet. It will be confronted depending upon how the situation develops. And of course, critical to all this will be the speed with which this can be fixed, and following that not long later, to figure out why this happened and how this happened, whether this was something accidental or something other than that. And so the investigations will be continuing, but before that, of course, the engineers are struggling to fix this problem.
Right, Sanjay, do stay on with me. Aviation expert Captain Amit Singh now joining us on this broadcast. So thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. We're still trying to get more details of what exactly has transpired across airports in the United Kingdom. Before now, we know that no flights are taking off, none are landing, several thousand passengers are stranded. But this kind of technical failure or glitch, would you suggest that this is perhaps just a temporary blip, something that could be immediately rectified, or this is going to take some while?
It is difficult to say. Last time it happened in US when due to a software error the system went down. It only slows down the whole process of landing and taking off. Priority will of course be given to aircrafts landing or coming in. But the air traffic management system, the UK space is important because it is a transition between US and Europe and rest of the world towards the east. So a number of flights are either transiting or going via UK. So the quantum of flights is very high. So that is why even a small glitch like this will affect flights coming in. If they are diverting, they won't be able to divert within UK. Possibly they'll have to go over to somewhere in Europe, and if they are carrying so much fuel. So all these things that of transatlantic flights end up pretty low on fuel while landing in UK.
Yeah.
So it is a concern, genuine concern, because if you're coming in from the east, you're over the land. So you could land before UK or fuel and carry on. But if you're coming overseas from your US to UK, you're transatlantic. So that is a big concern.
Right, Captain Amit Singh, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. UK air traffic systems have failed. All flights taking off, landing have all now been grounded. The airspace is shut. We'll keep a track of what transpires there, and we do hope that this is rectified at the earliest. But on that note, slipping into a quick break here on this edition. Back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
ISRO's Aditya mission on the September 2nd. The launch of Aditya L1, the first Indian space-based Indian observatory to study the sun, is scheduled for the 2nd of September 2023 at 11:50 a.m. from Sriharikota. It will be the first space-based Indian mission to study the sun. The spacecraft shall be placed in a halo orbit around the Lagrange point L1 of the Sun Earth system. The information that I'm giving you is from the website of the Indian Space Research Organization. And a satellite placed in the halo or orbit around the L1 point has the major advantage of continuously viewing the sun without any occultation or any kind of eclipses. This will provide a greater advantage observing the solar activities and its effect on space, whether in real time. My colleague Ritu with us on the broadcast to give us more details. Ritu, tell us about this mission.
Well, so after moon, it is the time for the sun for ISRO. In fact, so now what we are seeing that the ISRO has tweeted this, making it very official about the launch of the Aditya L1, and also confirming the date as well. Because remember, the ISRO earlier had told that it would be in the first week of the September, but now the ISRO says that the launch will be on the 2nd September. In fact, now the Aditya L1 is the mission. In fact, it's the first mission of the ISRO to study the sun. So the satellite shall be placed in the halo orbit around the Lagrange point 1 is what we are given to understand of the Sun-Earth system. In fact, see, this is very interesting even more because this is going to be about 1.5 million kilometer journey of this particular, the mission, in fact, from the Earth. And it will also take around 120 days to reach the designated place. So yes, after moon, it is the sun for ISRO now.
ISRO now, as my colleague Ritu is pointing out. For how long has ISRO been working on this mission, Ritu? And what exactly are the expectations from it?
One thing you see, with this mission, the ISRO will be able to study the surface of the moon, various elements again there as well will be studied by the ISRO, which we will have to wait for some more time in specifically that what exactly the ISRO is expecting through this mission. But remember, the chairman of the ISRO, S. Somnath, in fact, just last week when the ISRO soft landing was, the Chandrayaan-3 soft landing was achieved on the moon's south pole, that's when the ISRO chairman confirmed it, saying that this, in fact, it has already moved to the Sriharikota, and there the launch will take place, and this will be completely to study the surface of the sun. This, in fact, was a long time plan of the ISRO as well. The ISRO was working on this for a couple of years now. So yes, this is yet another big mission of the ISRO.
My colleague Shrishti is also with us on the broadcast. Shrishti tracks the space sector for us, and she'll give us more details about this one. Shrishti, how ambitious is this program? Is it a first of its kind program for the ISRO, or they have done something before like this before? What are the examples across the world for exploring the sun or its orbit?
Right. So different countries have been exploring the sun. NASA has carried out missions in the past, but for India, this will be the first of its kind mission. So we are planning to send a spacecraft and place it at a point called L1, which is at a distance between the sun and the Earth, and it will have a lot of payloads on it. But the most important part of this mission is that we have a 90 kg payload called the Visible Line Emission Coronagraph.
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. Some breaking news now coming in from West Bengal, where a day after 9 lives were lost due to a blast in an illegal firecracker factory, now we're learning that the state government has cracked the whip. 2 police personnel have been suspended by the state government is what we're now learning. Komalika, my colleague, joining us live, getting us more details. Komalika, you're reporting from North 24 Parganas, I believe. The latest that's now coming in is that 2 police personnel have been suspended for dereliction.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the OC Neelganj, he has been suspended. Himadri Dokra, he has been suspended first because a lot of allegations were coming against him. Local people have told us also that number of times they went to the local police, but the local police did not pay any heed to their complaints that there was this illegal firecracker factories going on there. And also the role of IC Duttapukur Thana was also under question because it used to happen this IC and this OC together used to have some, stake in this entire episode of, making the illegal cracker factories run. That's what the local people were saying. And that's, that came into light, and the senior officials, top of the administration, everybody was very much annoyed and angry with such a situation, because it was given direction from the highest command that all raids should take place and nowhere illegal firecracker factories will be encouraged. That's what the direction was from the chief minister. In spite of that, when this thing happened, the administration, they are very strict. And what we are coming to know, that the highest command, the highest, the person who is in charge of law and order, and the highest police personnel, all the senior officers are very much annoyed with things, and the head of the administration is not also happy with the role of police. And that's why we see that with one day of this incident, 2 police personnel have been suspended, and what we are getting it from the sources, the number might be more. More police personnel might get the heat of the top.
Right, more policemen, more administration, their authorities perhaps likely to face the whip. For the moment, Komalika, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. But this is the 5th blast in 7 months of this year. Over 20 lives have been lost because of these illegal firecracker factories. What is the state government doing is the question the BJP asks, to which the TMC has simply responded that this is nothing but political vulturism by the Saffron Party. Listen in to some of those reactions coming in.
Let us think of the patient. This is not the occasion, a very inopportune moment to discuss anything that is controversial.
What happened in Duttapukur, that is an accident. We strongly condemned the accident, most unfortunate, but the demand of NIA probe, that is totally politically motivated. What is BJP doing in Manipur? Manipur is burning. They have done nothing in Manipur, and in West Bengal they are, in every incident, accident, they are demanding NIA probe. And Honorable Governor, he is acting as BJP agent, and now he is doing the politics of vultures. He has gone to the spot. What is he doing there?
पहले तो इतनी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना है, और इसमें हम सबकी संवेदना उन लोगों के पीड़ितों के पास है, साथ है। मैं आपसे ये कहना चाहूंगी कि ये एक और असलियत आप देख रहे हैं हमारी विपक्षी एकता की और उसकी ताकत की, कि ये है उनकी एकता, कि जब बैठना होता है साथ साथ मीठी मीठी बातें करनी होती साथ साथ करेंगे, लेकिन जब ऐसा कोई दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना होगी तो उसी सरकार के खिलाफ कांग्रेस भी आवाज उठाएगी, बीजेपी तो आवाज उठाई रही है, लेकिन एक ऐसी विपक्षी ताकतों की एकता है कि मिलकर भी एक दूसरे के साथ अलग अलग हैं।
Shifting focus now to politics that has erupted unfortunately over a sporting event. Yesterday we had the Indian men's relay team leave India, leave a billion people beaming with pride. We saw the kind of performance that they gave in Budapest. But unfortunately we had some within the Congress who come out and talk about how this was the definition of Mohabbat ki Dukaan. They brought in the religion of the 4 members in the relay team. That gave ammunition to the BJP. The BJP now accusing the Congress party of dragging in religion even in sports. This is their secular hypocrisy, is the allegation that the BJP made. Allegations flying thick and fast between the 2 parties concerned there. 2 leaders from the Congress party, Jairam Ramesh and Manikam Tagore, were at the forefront of tweeting this picture of the men's relay team and making the kind of comments that they did, which only gave more ammunition to the BJP. Pallavi, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details on this. Now, Pallavi, Manikam Tagore and Jairam Ramesh were the 2 leaders from the Congress who tweeted this out. But is this sentiment shared by others in the Congress party as well?
Yes, in fact, I did see a couple of tweets which have come in from not just Jairam Ramesh, but also from Pawan Khera, Manikam Tagore as well. And also Jairam Ramesh happens to be the head of the media department of the Congress party. So that's going to be seen as an official word really coming in from the Congress party. It's going to be very difficult for the Congress now to distance itself from this comment because it's as official as it can get. And clearly this has given an ammunition to the BJP once again, because the BJP has always made this charge against the Congress that one, it is the party which kind of indulges in divisive politics, which plays the religion card and always blames the BJP for doing so, but doesn't even bother to look at the mirror. Even as far as giving credit to say Neeraj Chopra is concerned and to other players as well, the point which the BJP is making is that why are you finding a religion or caste angle to it? It is just about people or winners who brought glory to our country. Why not just give a straight compliment to them? Clearly the Congress party wants to use it as a tagline for India Front narrative for 2024 Lok Sabha elections. And in fact, even as they are working on their logo for the Mumbai meet, what they are really going to make the point, Poonam, is that this alone is a combination which can actually talk about one India, unlike the BJP, which is divisive in nature.
And the timing of it is also extremely important. This just comes a few days before the opposition meeting is supposed to take place. That is when their tagline, their logo, all of that is supposed to be revealed ahead of the 2024 elections. So the fact that the Congress is talking about Mohabbat Ki Dukaan, something that Rahul Gandhi has often spoken of while he was on his Bharat Jodo Yatra, it's interesting the references that have been drawn, isn't it?
Well, I mean, one of the inspirations for the acronym India came in both from Mamata Banerjee as well as from Rahul Gandhi, and the cue was certainly taken by the Bharat Jodo Yatra. In fact, the tagline to the India Front name acronym is also Judega Bharat, Jeetega Bharat. I think the logo is going to be based something roughly around this narrative. What the point that India Front is going to make as the crux or the pivot of their common minimum program or whatever manifesto they come out with is that unlike the NDA or the BJP, which divides the people on caste and religious lines, the India Front actually can offer you an alternative on the basis of everyone being seen with the same eye and everyone being given equal opportunities. So I think it is in sync with that. You're going to see increasingly, at least till 2024, even on occasions like in the present case that we are talking about, even on these kind of occasions, I don't think the Congress plus the India Front will let go of any opportunity to make the point that there is a basic oneness in a country which the BJP is not accepting or promoting, but it's something which you can look at the India Front for.
And it's not just the Congress that spoke about this or brought in religion. There's another aspect to this entire controversy as well. The TMC too chimed in, Pallavi, and the TMC said that, much like what happened during the success of Chandrayaan 3, perhaps even this the Prime Minister will claim credit for. So it's a no-holds-barred attack really, and setting the stage irrespective of what happens. It really all boils down to the opposition versus the BJP, it seems.
Well, I mean, in an election season, it's but natural that everything becomes an issue, but you also draw a Lakshman Rekha or a line to what should become an issue. But unfortunately, as we are inching closer and closer to what is likely to become a very acrimonious war of words and a tug of war between the India Front and other opposition parties on one side and the BJP plus the NDA on the other side, issues which normally should be kept outside the domain of politics, unfortunately has also become a part of politics. Whether it was a Chandrayaan mission where it's become about credit war, it is now, of course, we are seeing even on the case of Neeraj Chopra, when actually this should have just been a simple occasion where every political party just forgets the political differences, looks at India being the one which sees that glory with this win. But clearly in election season, no political party wants to let go of this opportunity, and I would say it's not just a Congress party, the Trinamool Congress, the AAP, all of them are almost playing the same game.
Right, Pallavi, do stay on with me. Congress's Charan Singh Sapra now joining us on the phone line. So thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. The kind of comments that have been made by several of your colleagues within the Congress party when they were talking about the achievement of the Indian men's relay team, they said, Nafrat ke bazaar mein mohabbat ki dukaan hai ye. This is what they were talking about. The BJP says that you were singling out the religion of these four men. Is that what the Congress leaders were trying to do, Mr. Sapra?
No, we are not singling out, but in fact we are showing the harmony, the harmonious nature of the India. It's in the DNA of India. So I don't see anything wrong when some Congress leader mentions कि अगर हम जीते हैं तो इन सबके contribution है, and this is नफरत पर मोहब्बत की जीत और whatever they are saying, they are basically saying that a message of harmony is much bigger message than what BJP has been propagating. There's no politics in this.
But was that a message that perhaps could have been avoided? Could we just have celebrated the sporting feat in itself and just left it at that?
No. What harm is there? You tell me. What harm is there? This is a country in which, we believe in unity in diversity. We always say Sarva Dharma Samabhav. Is that wrong to say? Is BJP or you want to say that Sarva Dharma Samabhav should not be said?
Absolutely not, sir. But the point of why I'm asking you this question is that unfortunately now the discourse has come to not the achievement of our sports persons, but of the politics that has revolved around it, which is why I asked could the comment have been avoided?
It's not about discourse. It is about reminding the people of the country and reminding BJP especially that we believe in Sarva Dharma Samabhav, which Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar or Mahatma Gandhi propagated.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong in that.
Sure. So this is needless politics is what the Congress says. Mr. Sapra, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. We are shifting focus now to more breaking news that's coming in, and this is coming in as far as the opposition's meeting in Mumbai is concerned. Remember, it is slated for the 31st of this month and the 1st of September. Now we're learning is that on the days that the India Alliance or the opposition alliance is going to be in a huddle in Mumbai, the BJP and its allies are also going to be holding a similar meeting in Mumbai itself. The BJP, the NCP, which is the Ajit Pawar faction, and the Shinde Sena are going to be a part of this meeting where strategy for 2024 is going to be chalked out.
नाना भाव स्केड्यूल क्या रहेगा? 30 तारीख को शुरू हो गई गतिविधियां, ऐसा बताया जा रहा है। 30 तारीख को एक सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस होगी यहाँ पे, और उसके बाद 31 और 1। तो ये 30 तारीख की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस क्या है और उसके बाद का स्केड्यूल क्या है?
30 तारीख को, क्योंकि इस होस्ट MVA है, तो शरद पवार जी, उद्धव ठाकरे जी, मैं और अशोक चौहान जी ऐसे मिलकर हम एक वार्ता करेंगे और पूरे कार्यक्रम का प्लान हम आपको बताएंगे। और 31 को सब गेस्ट आना शुरू हो जाएंगे। 31 को एक फॉर्मल मीटिंग शाम को ली जाएंगी। शाम को ही इंडिया अलायंस के लोगों का भी अनावरण किया जाएगा। 1 तारीख को सुबह से ही 10:30-11 बजे से मीटिंग शुरू हो जाएगी और शाम को 4 बजे तक ये मीटिंग खत्म होकर प्रेस वार्ता होकर मीटिंग खत्म हो जाएगी।
सबसे महत्वपूर्ण सवाल ये पूछा जा रहा है कि कौन कौन नेता आ रहे हैं। 26 दल आपने बताया, इस पर भी काफी विवाद छिड़ा हुआ है। कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं नहीं, इससे ज्यादा पक्ष आएंगे। तो अभी के लिए जानकारी क्या है? क्या इससे 26 से ज्यादा पक्ष आएंगे और इनमें से कितने मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे और कौन कौन से महत्वपूर्ण चेहरे आएंगे?
देखो, हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेता मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी, सोनिया जी, राहुल जी तो ये आएंगे। 6-7 मुख्यमंत्री भी इसमें रहेंगे। नीतीश कुमार जी, ममता बनर्जी, स्टालिन, केजरीवाल जी।
1 तारीख को मुंबई में हमारे NDA की बैठक 48 लोकसभा मतदार संघ के हमारे जिलाध्यक्षों, MP, MLA, MLCs और सारे हमारे प्रमुख नेता हुए थे। 1 तारीख को दिल्ली के NACL के डोम के यहाँ हमारी मीटिंग आयोजित करने जा रही है, जिसे मुख्यमंत्री के नाते एकनाथ जी शिंदे, उप मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र जी, उप मुख्यमंत्री अजित दादा वहाँ पे मार्गदर्शन करेंगे।
Vinaya, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Vinaya, those 2 days are going to be extremely crucial. It's like a battle of alliances that takes place. It's just that there are going to be 26 parties on one side as far as the India alliance goes, and only the Maharashtra NDA allies on the other side.
Well, absolutely. But if you look at it, look at the timing of it, this clearly is a show of strength and the face-off between the India alliance on one hand and the Mahayuti, which is the Maharashtra components of the NDA on the other. The fact that the NDA's meeting, that the Mahayuti's meeting is going to happen in Mumbai on the same date that India conference is going to hold its most crucial press conference the fact that the show of strength by BJP and its allies is happening at NSCI Dome, which is one of the biggest venues, which is in the home constituency of Aditya Thackeray, is also something that is telling enough about what the significance of this face-off will be. In this, while BJP and its allies will take cognizance and will take a review of all the 48 Lok Sabha seats and will hold a meeting with all the MLAs, MPs and district level officials of all the three parties. At the same time, this will clearly divert the entire attention, the focus in Mumbai for those 2 days was specifically about the India meeting because of its importance and because of the kind of national leaders that are going to be expected to arrive in Mumbai. This will also divide the attention in some form because of the kind of key issues that will be taken up by the BJP and its allies in Maharashtra. So a clear face-off. Today, NCP Maharashtra President Sunil Tatkare declared that a meeting will be held, though he, refuted on record saying that there was no attempt to keep a meeting on the same date as India is holding a meeting, and this is purely logistic because of the convenience of all the parties. But the fact that this meeting has been declared today, just at the cusp of the beginning of India meeting, itself shows that this face-off will be an important one. Back to you.
Right, do keep a track of the political developments there on ground. But for the moment, Vinaya, thank you so much for getting us the latest. On that note, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5. Back in just a few minutes. Do stay tuned.
Brought to you by
that has been worked upon by scientists from the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, and they have been working on this payload for about 15 years now. It's a very complex payload and took a lot of hard work from the scientists to integrate all these complex elements into it. So the objective is to basically understand the heating of the sun's outer layer. The viewers must understand that there is a large temperature difference between the core of the sun and the outer layer of the sun, and scientists are really intrigued about it and they really want to understand it. Apart from that, there are certain flares which keep coming out of the sun and have a potential of probably having some impact on the spacecraft which are orbiting in the space. So and we can't really predict them. So scientists are really keen to understand if they can figure out a way to predict these solar flares. So all these are different objectives of the entire mission, and finally it is on track, and we'll see the rocket lifting off from Sriharikota on 2nd September.
Let me cut across to my colleague Poonam as well. She's joining us from the newsroom. Poonam also has some updates. Yes, Poonam, please tell us.
Right, this is the tweet that has been put out by ISRO, not only confirming the date and the time of when this launch is going to happen, but also why it's extremely unique. So I just want to quickly take our viewers through that. And this is, like Shrishti was also pointing out, the major objectives, of course, she's outlined for us. But here's what makes Aditya L1 extremely unique. And this is what ISRO has now been putting out. It's the first time that a spatially resolved solar disk is going to be in the near UV band. What we are going to be seeing is that the CME dynamics that are going to be close to the solar disk, thereby providing information in the acceleration regime. It's not something that is usually observed, is what ISRO then goes on to say. They're also talking about why this is unique. It says that the directional and energy antistrophy of the solar wind using multi-direction observations is something that has never been done before, and that is what ISRO aims to do with this particular mission. Remember, right after the success of Chandrayaan 3, the chairman of ISRO, Mr. Somnath, had spoken to us here, and he had told us that this is all on track. It's already at Sriharikota. Just the time and date has to be decided, and that has now been released.
Been released, Poonam, with that tweet that ISRO has put out. I want to once again go back to Shrishti, who's with us on the broadcast. Shrishti, to explore the mysteries of the universe, to understand the sun, its orbit and various things that comprise our universe has been the quest of the modern day scientists. You spoke about the NASA's mission. This is the first of its kind mission for India. What are the expectations that ISRO scientists have?
Definitely a lot of expectations. So we started our journey for interplanetary missions back in 2008 with Chandrayaan-1, when we launched a spacecraft and placed a orbiter there. And 2019 we went to Mars, and then again another attempt at Chandrayaan. So this
Shrishti, I'm very sorry to interrupt you there. Dr. G. Raju, who's the former director of ISRO, is joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Raju, good afternoon. Thank you for speaking with us. Aditya L1, a very ambitious project from ISRO. What are your expectations and how big of a leap would it be for us?
Yes, see, this Aditya L1 mission is a very important mission for studying the solar storm, solar winds. Solar winds are very crucial for both for communication and emotion, particularly communication. We have not understood much about solar winds. Therefore, we are going to a place called Aditya L1, where L1 means the Lagrange point, from where we can look at the sun without any interruptions of eclipses or anything. So L1 is about 1.5 million kilometers, and we'll have a constant view of the sun. We'll have a constant view of the sun to study the basic activities. To my knowledge, the main focus is on studying the solar wind. Okay, this is one of the important things that's being done by the Aditya L1 mission.
ISRO's Aditya mission on the September 2nd. The launch of Aditya L1, the first Indian space-based Indian observatory to study the sun, is scheduled for the 2nd of September 2023 at 11:50 a.m. from Sriharikota. It will be the first space-based Indian mission to study the sun. The spacecraft shall be placed in a halo orbit around the Lagrange point L1 of the Sun Earth system. The information that I'm giving you is from the website of the Indian Space Research Organization.
Welcome back. There is a big push as far as tourism in Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, and what better way to do that than have the winners of the Miss World pageant, and that's exactly what the government has been doing. An impetus has been given to boosting tourism in Jammu and Kashmir. This is also something that the government has been highlighting as far as after the abrogation of Article 370 is concerned. My colleague Ishan caught up with the winners of the Miss World pageant. Listen to what they had to tell us.
Ma'am, how do you like the beauty? How beautiful do you think this lake is?
I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I would love the whole world to see it. I cannot wait for all the contestants from 140 countries to come here to India and see this beautiful place. Absolutely, I would truly recommend it to see to everyone. And I will tell my friends and my family, they are all coming over to India to see me during the final. So I hope we will be able to take a tour, and I will take them to the Kashmir. And we also took plenty of photos and videos together that will go all around the world. So I cannot wait for everyone to see it.
I have with me Miss World America right now taking Shikara ride in Dal Lake. You know, where you must have seen this place in pictures or somewhere. This is famous around the world. How do you see when you're here today in Dal Lake?
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm here with Miss England. I'm here with Miss Dominican Republic, Emmy, and Jessica, and I'm so happy to be here with the Miss World organization. India is really blessed that Miss World is being hosted this year, so this is a very beautiful ride. If you're ever in Kashmir, you guys have to come here. It's so peaceful. I love the embroidery here. I love the beautiful pieces, so it's a must stop. There should be zero thoughts of hesitation. This is a must stop. If you're ever in India, you have to come to Kashmir. All of us came on a charter plane from Delhi to Kashmir, and Kashmir was our first stop. So that goes to show you that if Miss World can bring Miss World to Kashmir, there is something special about the beauty of Kashmir. So you have to come and experience it yourself.
You might get an idea where I'm sitting right now. This is the Shikara and this is the world famous Dal Lake. Behind me, my VJ Bashir Loan will zoom in and show you that is Miss World taking pictures in world famous Dal Lake, sitting on Shikara. She is in Kashmir and has been today traveling to places to explore how the Kashmir looks like. She is accompanied by, Miss World is accompanied by Miss World India and also Miss World Caribbean, and they are today here taking a look at how this particular Kashmir looks like, because Kashmir has been attracting tourists from a very long time, and this will actually go down as a message that Kashmir is peaceful and safeful for tourists and people from across the globe to visit, because Kashmir has been one place where tourists from across the globe have been coming to visit, explore, and then also enjoy this beauty of Kashmir Valley. These are covered mountains. This is a valley where it's covered with mountains. You can see Dal Lake. Then also there are other people, other personalities which are accompanying Miss World, and this is something where the government has been trying to make sure that the countries revoke their travel sanctions or restrictions, in regard to Kashmir, and this will definitely help in boosting that confidence of J&K government and the government of India to ensure that those are removed, at the same time bring maximum tourists from outside, not only from India but also from foreign countries as well.
Reliance Industries Chairman Mukesh Ambani today addressed his company's shareholders at the 46th Annual General Meeting. He gave a report card of what the company has done in the last 1 year, also sharing plans of what to come next. He spoke about how Reliance's growth has propelled India's growth. Listen to what he had to say.
We began our 5G rollout last October. In just 9 months, Jio 5G is already present in over 96% of the census towns of our country. And we are on track to cover the entire country by December of this year. This makes Jio 5G the fastest ever 5G rollout of this scale anywhere in the world. Today, nearly 85% of the total 5G cells operational in India are in Jio's network. At our current pace, we are adding one 5G cell to our network every 10 seconds, and we will have nearly 1 million 5G cells operational in our network by December. Today, our 5G rollout is powered by Jio's own 100% in-house developed 5G stack, which aligns perfectly with our Prime Minister's Atmanirbhar vision. Dear shareholders, Reliance's export for the year jumped 33.4% to 3.4 lakh crores. We accounted for over 9.3% of India's merchandise exports, up from 8.4% last year. In the financial year 23, Reliance's contribution to the national exchequer stood at rupees 1,77,173 crores. A prosperous India in which no Indian and no region will be left behind. Dear friends, I am delighted to report yet another year of stellar all-around performance. Reliance's consolidated revenues stood at 9,74,864 crores. Reliance's EBITDA for the financial year 23 was 1,53,920 crores, while the net profit was rupees 73,670 crores.
That's all we could pack in for you in this edition of Nation at 5. It's a wrap from my side. Anusha, my colleague, joins you with Viewpoint next.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Viewpoint. I'm Anusha Soni. The district of New in Haryana had an eerie calm to it. With Section 144 imposed in and around the district, internet suspended in many parts, the holy month of Shravan was a tumultuous chapter in the history of this town. Just about 4 weeks ago, riots had broken out in different parts of the district amidst a series of clashes between the majority and the minority community. Taking lessons from the Braj Mandal Yatra of July 2023 that had led to clashes between the two communities, the local administration was indeed on a high alert. Only about 50 individuals were allowed from various Hindu organizations to perform Jal Abhishek at the local Shiv temples. VHP claims that local ancient temples are victims of encroachment. They need to be